Last week, Ottawa announced new childcare measures aimed at securing impartial access to childcare. New measures include a childcare expansion loan program with over $1 billion in low cost loans, $60 million in non repayable grants, $48 million over 4 years towards student loan forgiveness for rural and remote early childhood educators, or ECEs, and an investment of $10 million into increasing the capacity to train ECEs across the country. Despite that announcement, daycare operators across the country are raising some red flags about the rollout of $10 per day childcare. And joining us now to discuss those hurdles is Krystal Churcher, chair of the Association of Alberta Childcare Entrepreneurs. Krystal, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
In a previous interview, we spoke with a reporter on the situation in Ontario and the struggles daycare operators are going through. How has the rollout of $10 per day childcare gone in Alberta?
Um, I think while we're seeing affordable childcare roll out in Alberta and parents are starting to see a reduction in fees, it hasn't been successful in my opinion. I feel like with the rollout of the affordable childcare program, parents are losing, access to childcare. We're seeing such an increase in demand and wait lists. It's really hard to get into a childcare space. So, while it sounds wonderful to have $10 a day childcare, if you actually can't get a space and you can't access it, um, I don't really believe it's working. I think, for operators, it's been a fight. We've been, especially for private operators, we've been really fighting to make sure that this is an inclusive program, that it supports the mixed market childcare that we have in Alberta, that we have in Canada, and that we're rolling this out in a way that is responsible use of the $30 billion of taxpayer money. And it's creating a high quality system that's going to last for Canadian families.
Can you walk us through some of the major hurdles that there are? You've mentioned a few things. Can you expand
Sure.
on that?
Well, I think, nationally, one of the major hurdles we're seeing is it's a severely underfunded program. And you mentioned a little bit about Ontario. What we're seeing in Alberta, what we're seeing in Ontario are not unique to our provinces. These are issues that are across Canada. Our association is working with other provinces. We're working, nationally, all together. And those discussions we're having from province to province, we're all experiencing the same thing. So these are issues that are coming forward. I think the cracks of this program are starting to show. But I feel like while $30 billion is again a substantial investment from taxpayers, there was no research done to know what childcare would actually cost. And I believe it's probably double, if not more, to be able to ensure that the level of quality we have in Alberta is going to be continued and maintained, if not increased, under this national program. So I think that's one of our biggest hurdles right now is the lack of funding. Trying to really hold on as operators to make sure that the integrity of our programs is intact as we continue down this road, and that parents don't lose access to their choice for childcare. Because something that we're starting to see 3 years in now is that there is less and less choice for families. And not all families want a standardized daycare center for their child. Some families choose preschool, some families choose day homes. Some families want their child home with an elder or with a neighbor or someone from the community. And I don't really believe that that's the right of the government to decide, what childcare looks like for every family. Um, I think what Ontario is dealing with is the cost on centers, on the burden to administer this program, to finance this program. Alberta's experiencing the same thing. So
It was,
I think with
sorry,
this, Mhm.
it was noted that some childcare providers in Ontario are losing like $5 per day per child. Has that been your experience as well in Alberta?
I actually think that number's low.
Mm.
Um, I think that you'll see it vary. I mean, every center, depending on what their fees were when they signed into this program, if they were someone who came right out of COVID and signed into this with low childcare fees, or If there's someone who's only, been open a year and came into this with eyes wide open and able to set their fees at a fair cost, that's going to be a bit different. But I can speak only for myself. My center's losing on average $12 a day, and we have been for 3 years. So I don't think $5 is necessarily outrageous as a number.